everybody finds their way. Yeah, on the ApoE4 stuff, I was arguing with a company. Dave did his gene testing through. They ignored Dave in enhanced data indicating the longer living were LMHR types pointing to other countries, 100 plus. Look, a lot of these people don't realize that people who are these lower responders that have got an ApoE of 2.2, they tend to be in societies like in the around the world, which tend to be much cleaner, their environment, much lower in deuterium as well. Their water sources are lower in deuterium, like in that Siberian village where their water source is very low in deuterium. It just happens to be. And they just spray that on all the foods that they eat and even the animals that they feed. They provide drinking water in themselves. So they have a very low deuterium sort of intake. So there are a whole lot of factors why certain populations, we see it. People leave Japan, they go to the US, and they basically become just as sick as the US population. So, yeah, it's just nonsense. And nothing to do with genetics. It's just the way genetics work in some groups. The difference is that the clearance of an ApoE4 is much of a chylomicron remnant is rapid, which basically means you put a lot of fat into your liver at the same time, as unfortunately there may be a lot of sugar and that can create a problem. Or even if you put it in there and there is no sugar, you're going to be exporting much more of it much more rapidly and quicker. But if you're an ApoE33 or 22, that fat that you've just eaten, after it's circulated around for some time, it will stay in the system for longer. Remember, they don't measure chylomicrons. They measure basically LDL. If it's not going into the liver to be converted and re-exported out, so you can actually then have less chylomicrons and more LDL. It's the same energy. It's just in a different vehicle. That's all it is. So the ApoE determines whether the vehicle has more LDL in the system or more chylomicron and remnant chylomicron circulating. That's all. It's the same amount. If I have two people, one's got an ApoE of 4.4, 3.3, and 2.2, three people, let's say, and I give them the same meal. They fasted and then they have the same meal. The one with the 4.4 will rapidly take it up the receptor sites because the HDL will pass on the key, the magic key, giving it in to be able to get into the liver, be re-exported out rapidly as VLDL, and then as it goes and gives energy, it'll shrink down to an LDL. So you'll end up with more LDL in the system. On the other hand, if you've got a 3.3, less of it will go in, less will be exported out. If you've got a 2.2, even lower levels. And so you'll have more circulating. It's the same amount of energy. It's just circulating in different boats. But if you're only measuring these boats, the LDL boats, but ignoring the other ones, you're not measuring them, obviously you'll say, oh, there's more. But the reality is that's because of the ApoE. That's all it is. It's ridiculous. Is the LDL oxidized or not? Is it glycated with a lot of sugar? Is it oxidized because you put a whole lot of seed oil in there and it's inside and esterified with the cholesterol? Those fatty acids are highly reactive. That's what people need to be asking, because that's what the original, lipid peroxidation studies that were done in the 80s actually showed. And then those doctors, those friggin' criminal doctors, recommended statins rather than saying we need to remove this garbage out of the food supply, which was contraindicated. It's bullshit. This is a problem that people just do not understand. energy management due to HDL and the ApoE receptor and the genetics that transcript that. So do you get the quick key or the slow key? If you get the slow key, you're going to have lower LDL. If you get the quick key, you're going to have higher LDL. But the amount of energy that's just come in is just circulating in different boats. It's just freaking crazy. Just because you don't measure something, if you want to do proper lipid panels, you need to measure everything. And when you do that, you'll realize it's the same energy. It's just in different rafts, different boats circulating around. So, and these people would be basically at a basal level. That means the same weight, the same height, and all that. So they have that similar basal energy usage after being fasted. So in that regard, you'd know that a certain rate of energy is going to be used from the circulating, but because of their different genetics, the remainder is going to be in different boats, and it's going to be very close to each other. It's just nonsense, and more nonsense. So yeah.